My name is Shadee and I want to be your president. So fostering unity and pride within its members and surrounding organization is something very hard to do, but it's very, very possible, especially through educational, political, cultural, and social advancements. In FASA's history as an organization, each element seems to be focused on one at a time every year. Next year, I want to give each element equal attention and make sure that FASA is a place where members feel a sense of belonging. Once the student finds their place on campus, they become invested both personally and academically to their school. I've given 7 years of my life, to this organization. I believe my knowledge gathered over these last 7 years has made me very qualified of running FASA next year. I've dipped my feet in almost every aspect FASA has made available to its members. I was a student mentee, college mentor, and director of Project Family. I danced for Sayal, participated in Filipino Night, attended meetings at the ECC, involved with planning many of FASA's events, played intramural sports, and I was academics chair 2 years ago, or just last year. My face has been seen in many places, not only on the UW campus, but also in the Filipino community of Seattle. I know how things run and I'm aware of what has worked and what has not. It is my time to get back to FASA. So during the NW FASA conference meeting, I was able to attend a workshop, and I want to share a quote, and I had to write it down because when I say it, it's kind of confusing. So it says, once I get this up, no history, no self, no history, no self. See how it gets a little confusing? What does it mean to you? Personally, I value the importance of knowing our history, knowing how FASA started, knowing what FASA has done. This 95-year organization has been through a lot, and I'll make it one of my duties to not only instill the knowledge the last 95 years of FASA in my fellow officers, but also the FASA members and the surrounding community. We cannot identify ourselves with an organization we know very little about. Alumni are part of our history. They have the ability to bridge the gap between now and then. They have always been present in guidance and support, so I want to strengthen their involvement next year. I want them to help me form leaders out of not only the officers, but all of the FASA members. How am I going to do this? Reach out. I'm very capable of doing this as well because I currently hold a lot of relationships, personal relationships, with past leaders in FASA. Along with past leaders, I have relationships with leaders in the community. So we have Uncle Fred and Aunt Dorothy, who used to teach at the university here and are now at Bonds. And also Auntie Alma in Ramon from the Filipino Community Center. I personally have worked with them just this past year. I value all of these relationships because not only is alumni very important, but also community involvement is something that needs to be pushed next year. I also keep in contact with the Seattle organizations like FASA Seattle. I plan on further reaching out to those organizations I do not already have an established relationship with and creating one with them. Not only is it important to get alumni and outside organizations involved, but I want to stress next year the importance of our FASA members getting involved. Members are what makes this organization, and you cannot get involved unless you are aware. So raising awareness of what's going on with FASA's organization and the Filipino community of Seattle is something that will be transparent next year. If FASA president, my job would be to lead leaders. So another goal is to guide them, guide leaders into becoming the best leaders I know that we are all capable of becoming. And together, as a group of officers, we'll be able to create an organization of leaders out of all of you, the members. Members will be able to step up, express themselves, and spread the awareness of FASA and the Filipino-American student identity that it embraces. So when students on campus, when people in the Seattle community, and when organizations in the state of Washington hear about FASA UW, they'll instantly think of a group of passionate, inspiring young leaders doing great things for the Filipino community of Seattle. I was inspired as a high school student Project Family by college mentors who are also FASA members. They provide me with commitment, leadership, knowledge, preparation, and hardcore mentorship. I want to give all FASA members a chance to develop and cultivate these characteristics themselves and to inspire others. This organization has basically raised me to who I am today, and it is in our Philippine nature to take care of what has nurtured us. So I care a lot about FASA, and if you let me, I'll lead FASA into a bright future and make sure all decisions made are what's best for this organization. Thank you.
So a lot of the planning process for the year is in the summer, and I believe you will be gone this summer studying abroad. Is that correct?
Yes, let me tell you about it. Okay.
How do you do that? My question.
So I will be gone August 15th to September 20th, and I know how important summer is. And one of my plans in order to be ahead next year is to utilize summertime. And I will be here for 2.5 months in the summertime. 2.5 months. By August 15th, I plan on having already incorporated alumni involvement with our summer officer meetings. So that's the time to develop skills to become a good leader, maintain this group development that I want to create for next year. Also, I do have this ability to do work while I'm not present. This is seen in my past experience when I was academics chair. I was gone for the summer, even longer. I was studying abroad in Greece, and I had to put on this summer retreat, but I was gone for summer, so it was like, what am I going to do? But I was able to do it. I did a lot of work from Greece itself, and delegation is a big part of when you're gone. How FASA works is that it's, we have this powership organization. And so if the president is gone, it is the vice president's job to step up. And so with the delegation that I experienced on the Project Family Retreat, I will be able to work closely with the vice president during the 2.5 months before I leave and make sure that everything that needs to get done will be relayed through the vice president, who will be physically here, and make sure everything is okay. Did I answer your question? Thank you. Third.
All right. Obviously, by your speech, you're probably the most qualified candidate overall. And you were saying about leading leaders. And when you lead, I think the concern that I have is some of the candidates, I feel they're not ready. And you're going to be working with vice president, which in my opinion, based on my opinion, is also not ready for this job. How are you going to lead these leaders, and how are you going to motivate the unmotivated?
So, like I said, I will utilize that beginning of summer to the best of my ability. One way that I want to involve alumni, because we do want to stress the involvement of alumni next year, is, I said in my speech, to help me create leaders out of leaders. So, have that said, I want to be able to bring the alumni that are available and that do want to help into our summer meetings, like hardcore work on development with developing skills on how to individually be a really good leader and together as a group dynamic be a really good leader as well, like for an organization. So when I do step back and I won't be there, I have this kind of, it's not word, like I know that they will be okay. And on top of that, I do want to do something in the summer where, on top of the summer retreat that we do with the officers and the alumni come back, I want to do something separate where in the very, very beginning of the year, we have this one event, and I invite all the past FASA officers back, and I'll have I want at least 2 or 3 past officers to pair up individually with each one of the new elected officers for the year, so they can have some really good one-on-one time before the summer even starts. And I feel like that is a really good way of, passing down the knowledge of how to be an officer specifically to that catering position. And then we'll do more, group dynamic work. How to maintain or how to motivate the unmotivated. I guess, first of all, if someone's not doing their job, someone's being unmotivated, you gotta first recognize it, so you gotta call them out. When you do that, you gotta remind them some one-on-one time, remind them why they did this in the first place. I feel like I'm a very personal person, and so I can relay that message that we are all here for a reason. Think back to that day of elections when you were speaking out, how passionate you were, why you wanted to be an officer, and bring that back and instill that in their minds so they can remember that there was a reason why they ran for this position, there's a reason why they committed to this thing, and so they need to commit to it. So there's that, reminding them, holding them accountable of what needs to get done if something's not being done. I feel like it's really important for the president to know when to step up and when to step back. If something's not being done, they do need to step up and make sure it does get done. And yeah, as president, with an officer group, you need to be able to cater to their needs, make sure that if they need something, you are there. So you just make yourself available as much as possible. Did I answer your question?
You guys have one last question.
We done?
So, FASA's relationship with this community outside of University of Washington, I know some relationships have been severed. And because of the priorities of FASA, how do you plan to really prioritize FASA and gain those relationships back?
So working outside with the Seattle Filipino community, I've had a lot of experience doing this, just with being the Project Family Director and reaching out to Seattle youth organizations in the surrounding community, and also some schools that are in the surrounding community. So we have that connection, and I still hold strong to those connections as well. Also, I know that the Filipino Community Center relationship has been a little severed. So with my involvement with the Sisterhood of Paño Ayuda, we have a very, very, very strong relationship with the Filipino Community Center. And they know who I am. I know who they are. It's a really great relationship, and we work together, and it's really awesome. So just with the relationship they already have, building on top of that, introducing FASA as this organization that we want to help, we want to be there, we want to be there for them, making ourselves available in the community, putting our face on as many places as we can. I guess with reaching out to other organizations or the Seattle community that I have not reached out to and I don't have a relationship with, as of right now. I do plan on doing that, reaching out to all of them, and I feel like I do have the capabilities of doing that. I have had this experience where I have to call, just cold call all these organizations that are in Seattle, letting them know who I am, and when I was doing the call, I was with the Sisterhood of Paño Ayuda, and what we are as a Filipino organization, and if they could help. And then I was able to receive a lot of donations that way and keep those relationships strong. And I feel like I can do that same thing with FASA. And